Okay, we're moving on to a new topic finally. So the next topic we're doing is called transformations. So transformations is when we are changing the size, location, or orientation of a shape or object. Maybe we add on a graph. Okay, so we're talking about, if I have graphed a picture of a triangle, I can either move where it is on the graph, or I can flip it on the graph, or I can change how big it is on the graph. So when we're doing these transformations, we have a pre-image and an image. So our pre-image is our original picture. It is the before picture, before you move it or flip it or make it bigger or smaller, okay? And when we label our pre-image, our before picture, we label it with capital letters. Each point gets labeled with a capital letter. Our image is your new picture. So after you move it or flip it or make it bigger or smaller, after. And we label that with a capital letter and a little apostrophe. So when we're talking about this, you would say that as like A prime. That's what that little dash up there means. Okay, so I know that my after picture is always the one that has the little dash, the apostrophe up there, okay? So there are 4 different types of transformations. Today we're going to talk about one of them is translation. So a translation is when you move or slide a shape. We're not doing anything crazy to it. We're just changing where it is in the graph, okay? So you probably learned this in middle school, which means it's easy. So the first one, it's giving us this triangle and it's telling us to move it 3 units to the right and 2 units up. So all you have to do is each of the points on the graph, each corner of the shape, you're going to move it 3 units to the right and 2 units up. And all you have to do is count. So this point goes 1, 2, 3, and then up 1, 2, and that's the new spot. Now we're going to label our old shape so we can tell the difference. So we're going to label this A, B, C, which means that when I move it 3 to the right and 2 up, now that was point A, and now this is point A prime. Okay, and we do this with all the points in the shape, all the corners. So I got to move B. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, put a dot. It was B. Now it's B prime. We're moving C. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, put a dot. That's C prime. And when you guys are connecting your shapes or connecting your lines or the dots in GoFormative, make sure you use the straight line button to make it nice and clean for you and not raggedy. So pretty. Okay. So it's easy to do it when they just give you a little description like that, but sometimes they're going to tell you in some notation. And there's 2 different kinds. There's mapping notation and vector notation. So one way they could say this is by making it look like this with parentheses and having an X and Y in it. Okay. So the number that's next to X, this number is going to be telling me, did I move to the right or to the left? Okay. If I'm moving to the right, then it's going to be a positive number. If I'm moving to the left, then it's going to be minus a number, okay? And for my other number, the number next to Y, that's telling me, did I move up or down? If it's a positive number, that means it was a plus, or moving up. If this is a negative number, then I'm moving down. So in mine, we're going to practice writing this. Here's my description. So my description was, let's write it. Why is it so difficult? So I always have to write the X comma Y with the arrow. So X comma Y in parentheses with an arrow. That always needs to be there. Here we go. So we have X. Now we said we moved 3 units to the right. So that's my right left number. If it was to the right, that means plus 3. So plus 3, comma, my Y number. My up, down. Did I move up or down? Well, here's my 2 units up. Up means that's a positive 2, close parentheses. That's how I write mapping notation. Okay. For vector notation, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just instead of writing all the X's and Y's and the arrow and the parentheses, we're going to use these pointy parentheses, and you just put the right left number first and the up down number second. So we said 3 to the right means a positive 3. So I use my pointy. I put my positive 3 first. I don't have to put a plus 3 when I'm doing vector notation. If it's a positive number, just leave it. And my up down number we said was 2 up means it's a positive 2. So I just write a 2 pointy parentheses. And then this would be vector notation. So these are saying the same thing. It just looks a little different. So let's do some practice questions. So number 2, they're telling me this is how I want you to move this triangle. So I'm going to label my triangle first of all, ABC. ABC. And now I need to figure out, well, how is this telling me I'm supposed to move? Remembering that the first number is supposed to be my right, left number. So if it was positive, I move to the right. If it's negative, I move to the left. So 2 is positive, so I'm going to move to the right 2. Okay. My second number is my up, down number. If it's positive, I move up. If it's negative, I move down. So that's at negative 4. So that means I'm moving down 4. And now that's what I got to do to this graph. So here we go. Right 2. So 1, 2. And then I move down 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is my after picture. So I'm putting A prime. Same thing on B. Right 1, 2. Down 1, 2, 3, 4. B prime. Here's my C, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, C prime. And we're connecting with a nice straight line. Oops, here we go. Okay, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Okay, another kind, so they can either have you drawing it, like telling you the rule and then saying, draw the picture. Or they can give you a picture and say, okay, this is what happened in the picture, and you write the rule. So first of all, this said write the mapping rule. So that tells me we should be doing the one that looks like with the parentheses, not the pointy parentheses. So my answer should look like this. So first of all, I'm going to figure out describe how did this move. So how do I know which one was the original picture and which one was the one they drew after the rule? So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the prime. Oh, this has the prime. That means that is the second drawing. And the regular letters, this is the first drawing. Okay, so I start here. And so this was the letter A. So when I count and figure out how did we just move, I'm counting to the other letter A. So how did I get from the start to the finish? Okay, well, let's find out. So they went down 1. So I'm going to write down 1, keep track. And then they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, which way did they just go? They went to the left. Okay, so I gotta figure out what order am I supposed to write them in up there, and when I write it, is it a positive or negative? So we know we gotta start with X comma Y and the arrow. and parentheses x. Okay, the number next to x is supposed to be my right left number, which was 7. Is it supposed to be a positive or negative 7? Well, moving to the right is plus, moving to the left is negative. This was to the left, so it should be -7, -7, comma. The number, or the number next to y, that's my up, down number. Up, we're going to make it positive. Down, we're going to make it negative. So that's my up, down number is 1. And we move down, so that means I'm supposed to make it 1 minus 1. This is my answer. So when you're doing these questions, make sure you're paying attention to how do they want you to write the rule, and making sure that you're starting at the number or at the letter that does not have a prime. I do not need to count for every point, because if I figure it out for one of the points, they did the same rule for all the points. So I only need to pick the one letter to do it on. So you're going to go ahead and start the formative for today.